I desire truth in your inward parts, which can only be obtained through my word combined with my spirit and revelation to complete the picture on the inside of you. This is not simply head knowledge of my word, nor is it determined by visual evidence of overflowing talents and manifestations of my spirit that you are considered worthy to bear the weight of my glory. Nothing man-made can produce what I am orchestrating within my people and the world. None of them have received the entire amount of my spirit, revelation, understanding, and wisdom. To attain the mind of Christ acting in and through you to the measure of fullness in your own life, and much more so when you desire to walk in that level of anointing when ministering to others, it involves a proper mixing of both parts. Keep an eye on yourself and pray that you do not succumb to temptation, for the spirit is willing but the body is weak. You are living in a time of severe deceit in which even the most elect can be duped. The deluded feel they have all the answers and will eventually stop receiving divine insight, just as the proud say they have no pride. Watch and pray, for you do not know when the Son of Man will appear. To those who declare he is coming this or that day, he will not come on that day. Those who claim he will not come will be caught off guard when he does. I am coming, and I bring my word and just judgment with me, for only I am worthy to open and reveal what is to come. What are you doing with the fact that you are close to that day and can see indications of the times? Spending it in dispute and strife, or unity and love? Those who are interested in my business will be on the front lines and well versed in my times and seasons. They will be recognized for their magnificent and inspired love for one another and for what I adore. They have entered my rest and will walk in tranquility amidst a perverse and crooked generation. Today, the Father declares, I have made your heart whole and complete before me. The soul fragmentation you've been battling is dissolving. My rescuing graces, oil and wine are pouring into every fracture and wound of your brokenness. Your country will now be filled with joy. Laughter will no longer be strange to you or your emotions. My spirit is uniting with your spirit, allowing you to walk in dominion over all the things that have chained you for so long. Chains have been broken. The prison gates are open. You're coming out. I'm bringing you out to a new season today. Old things have passed away, and regeneration is your watchword in life. What about the adversary? What about the mountains that stand in your way? They have been removed. They turn around and fall at my presence. I vindicate you in judgment, and I support you in all affliction and mercy. My censure is directed at the opposer and the mocker. Their name will be erased from the face of the world, but my righteousness will bring you advancement and permanency that will not be removed. God says, this is your heritage. You will thrive and persevere. You will minister to nations about my righteousness and glory. You will bring many to my shelters for refuge, since I have not abandoned those who seek me. The Father says today, the excellency of my name is going before you into battle. I have established my glory in the skies, and you are enthroned during this day to rise above and walk in dominance over all your enemies. Expect, and you will not be disappointed. Go ahead and rejoice, since you will not be denied. My gates and doors are open to you, and your praises contain the ordination of my strength. God says, let your mouth speak of my name and my power, for the endorsement of my throne is ready to bring your miracle. There is no need to consider or study the vast blackness before you, for I am shining down on you as the sun rises over the mountains. When all appears to be lost, remember that I am the day star rising in your heart, and the constellation of my favor follows you as the Magi follow the star to the location of heaven's darling. You are walking in and through me, and I will not keep myself hidden from you in any manner. My arms are open and my heart is enlarged towards you, so relax and trust that everything is about to change. Today, the Father says, I have no rebuke for you in your situation. The results of your conduct are a sufficient reproach. Remove your sackcloth and leave away your guilt. I have cleansed you of all shame on this day. Though you are frail and your soul is troubled, I will not abandon you. I take no delight in a restless heart far from my presence. Come closer to me. Cast yourself at my feet, and I will lift you and take you in. The price has been paid. The infraction has been dealt with. In fact, it was handled 2,000 years ago. You must forgive yourself. Allow others to forgive you. Forgive, let go, and move on to the better things I have in store for you. Today, the Father says, meditate on my goodness. Allow my promises to ooze like honey into your speech. You will not be disappointed, nor will you be denied. You've entered my courts, and your king's scepter has been lowered in your direction, offering you favor and acceptance of everything you prayed for. Yes, you have been accepted by the adored. I am your God and your King. I am the God who has brought this day into your life. Barriers have finally been broken down. This day, breakers and billows of my goodness are sweeping over you to wash away all the humiliation and anguish that has followed you for so long. Allow your mouth to pray. Look up and direct your prayers to my throne. Look up to see my goodness and mercy pouring out. Look up to see your solutions, which are much closer than the naked eye can see. This day, God says, you are not simply standing in safety with me, you have entered, truly entered, the multitude of my mercies. I am a God who works in multiple areas and situations in your life simultaneously. I don't know what to thank you for more, Lord, you'll shout as you glance around. Yes, it is the day of promise and defeat for the enemy. The wicked and those who speak ruin have been removed from the way. Your eye will see it, and your ear will hear and tingle with the knowledge that I have given a crushing blow to the adversary of your soul. I will bless you, and I am reshaping your life into unwavering fidelity today. Today, the Father says, do not be afraid, I am with you. I support you with my righteous hand. You are safe in my pavilion and beneath my wings, where you might seek sanctuary. Even if there is a lot of turmoil surrounding you, you can rest assured that I am your shield and sturdy tower. You can always abide and dwell in a safe area because you have faith in my promises to you. 1,000 can fall by your side, and 10,000 can fall by your right hand, but neither will get near you. It takes practice to have unwavering trust that is not influenced by what is going on around you, but it is possible. The devil bombards your mind with doubt and anxiety, but you may cut through those falsehoods and any tension in the air with a wave of my word, which is your sword of the Spirit, saying, "Peace, be still." You are an example of my power manifesting in the ground to people around you. It's time to put some weight behind that expectation with your mountain-moving faith and witness some miracles. You are a beacon of light in a dark place, like a lighthouse on a hill with a clean lens on a high beam. What flows from you to the environment in which you walk in any situation? What do you think about the scenario or persons you are visiting? These responses will show any constraints on your expectations and outcomes. Do you need to clean your lens or focus the beam? How do I want you to approach these situations you face every day? Do you have the scenario sized up with rejection and disappointment, anticipating a conflict or unfavorable outcomes? For some, these are standard expectations. However, not for you. You are the Most High God's child, and your success and future are in my hands. Instead, I want you to be as strong as a lion while remaining kind, confident in your mission while caring about the people. When you perceive every interaction with people as a chance to share my love and exhibit faith and confidence in my capacity to aid in any given situation, you are being about my business, and I will take care of my own. Don't be concerned or allow your hope to be delayed by what appears to be a long period in the natural. Depending on how you look at it, time is relative to situations and circumstances. Day by day, the hours pass, weeks begin to merge, month by month, year by year. You may observe from the perspective of decades, and patterns emerge. What seemed like an eternity was over far faster than one realizes. It is simpler to see how I can see things in millennia then. Because I know the end from the beginning, one day is equivalent to 1,000 years, and there is no time in all of eternity. Remove your focus from the time aspect and imagine yourself as an eternal being. As I grow your capacity to receive more, you will be able to offer more. Your perceptions of time and spiritual affairs will change as you begin to function on my time clock and fulfill my purpose on earth as the supernatural realm becomes more real to you than the normal world in which you dwell. Because your ears will be tuned into my voice as you press in and come close to me, the wells within you are being primed and ready to flow with me in new ways, unfettered by doubt and disbelief and the talking heads who believe they know it all. On the earth, the rain of my presence and the oil of my spirit are flowing and blending in new ways. Those who are tuned in will be able to see manifestations of my goodness and might. Don't be surprised if problems in your life require you to act quickly, because as the pumps within you are primed to allow the geyser of my presence to burst forth, the first things out will be detritus that has choked your once flowing well. All it takes is one strong blast to get you back up and running. I'm rushing and blasting through things that have been holding you back for years, and for some, their whole lives. You are about to enter what you have waited and planned for all these years, and whatever you have gone through, the cost you have had to pay will have been well worth it. According to the Father, you shouted out to me today, and I heard you. I read your petition and am not determining if you are qualified or good enough to receive an answer. Keep in mind that I am your righteousness. I act in your life based on the work of the cross, not on anything you may acquire for yourself. That is how mercy operates. That's how loving kindness works. Even today, my loving kindness reaches out to nurture and maintain you. Have faith in my mercy. Believe everything you know about who I am and what I do. As I have been with you throughout your life, I am with you now. I will never abandon you. I notice your tears. I understand your anguish. Lean into my unfailing love. I'm working in ways that you can't see. If you could go back a year to what I'm doing now, you would be able to relax and breathe more readily in the current scenario. Do you realize I'm working? Then, even if you don't have all the answers, relax and believe in your work. Take your gaze away from men's vanity. They have no responses. They don't have any solutions. They are providers of deception and sellers of lies. Don't fall for their plans or games. They will simply use you and then abandon you on the side of the road. I have bigger plans for you. This is the day you shine as a righteousness tree. This is the hour when my favor sap fills the branches and leaves of your inner self, since you are anchored deep by the quiet rivers and clear streams of my goodness. Allow joy to take up residence in your heart. Today, the Father says, I told you there is a better way. The laws of this more perfect approach supersede all other laws in the universe. It is the law that takes precedence above all others. Love protects and abides, patiently bears, and endures with tenacity and perseverance. The law of love is higher, and those who comprehend and abide in its truth can be confident that their hopes will never be dashed. They realize that their hope and faith will last forever, and that love will take them to a feast of everything beautiful. Love is unbreakable. The voice of love summons and guides us to the paths of virtue. My love has a voice that guides each of us on our paths of destiny and purpose. My voice says to some, dwell in the land and cultivate faithfulness, to others, go into the highways and byways and gather the lost, and to still others, I am sending you to the nations to declare my glory. But it is my love's voice that summons and sends you on the roads to higher places. Places where my love is revealed to you in secret, and my goodness teaches you that the greatest of all things is my love. Today, the Father instructs us to be spiritually minded, which is life and serenity. Put on Christ's mind, with the anointed inclinations and purposes you've received from me and my word. Difficulties and challenges will come and go. Pain and suffering have brought difficulties and trouble, yet they are a temporary and light affliction. You have been on my side and beside me. You have followed in my footsteps and learned about me. Now is the time to rise and stand and witness your God's rescue. Choose to fix your gaze on things above, where my glory will be revealed to you. Everything you require is readily available. I see the trials and infirmities that have made you feel weak. Today, I am injecting my power into you. I am enabling my manifestation of glory to appear in your position to deconstruct any postponed hope that has made your heart ill. I am leading you to become fully convinced with confident faith in my plans and purposes. So, prepare to have a new wave of optimism for the future poured into you, says the Father. Today, the enemy has attempted to attack you, causing fear and uncertainty, according to the Father. He's only a wind-blown dirt devil, and you can blow him away with a commanding breath of my Spirit via your mouth. The Lord says you'll be surprised at how small he is. He would huff and blow at you and try to trick your mind into believing his fear factor reality, but you have Christ's mind, darling. You can blow him away with my changing power. You are where your attention is drawn. You are going where you are focused, so make that focus deliberate. Allow your focus to be solely on my strength and force. Allow your attention to be drawn to my kingdom's purposes and duties. As I demonstrate myself strong and mighty on your behalf in this hour, I will reveal the truth about how little the enemy is and how weak his plans are. So do not be afraid, because the Lord your God is with you, says the Father. Whose report are you going to believe today, according to the Father? The nations will roar, and the earth's kings will fear and plot, but I am the final conqueror and strategist. I have heard your petitions and calls to me, and I am answering with a triumphant scream for my people. So, fear not, but rather rejoice, and believe, and you will witness the confident display of my might and glory upon the earth in your hour of need, and you will receive your answer and provision. This is the time to be like the two who saw past the land's giants and embraced the Lord's goodness. My supply is plenty and sweet, and the fruit of the land is plentiful and tasty. My harvest season is here, and I am summoning all my laborers to the fields to collect. Those who collect will undoubtedly partake of the harvest's abundance of fruit. Now is not the time to cower in your wine vats in terror, but rather to answer the call to victory. For you are my valiant men and women. Today, the Father says, as trouble increases, so does my grace. In your position, my grace and power are coming online. Expect help. Expect speedy favor that will break the enemy's might and demolish the adversary's opposition against you. When the enemy arises, I will respond from above. I'll come down, and the mountains of struggle will shake and fall. You will go to the next level of promotion and upgrade beyond all dreams. Some people who were watching and looking on didn't comprehend. They misconstrued and made decisions that do not reflect my feelings for you. I am here to assist you. I am here to assist you. The faith shield that has been placed around you has been anointed with oil from the breaker anointing from the horn of my might. You will go forward in power and emerge unhurt from any adversity. God says, cry out. Allow your voice to be heard. Allow your mouth to pray. My kingdom is both faith and voice activated. The angels assigned to you are commissioned as you speak. Keep a close eye on your words and never say anything other than what comes from my promise and positivism. Whatever things are good, pure, and faultless, dwell on them and talk only of them. Fear has no place here. Maintain your attention on what I am doing, for no matter how many opponents there are, one heart of faith believing in my hand at work is in the majority. You have attained salvation. God says, rescue is in my hand, and my hand is enlarged and open to you in full measure. Today, the Father says, I'm doing a work in your generation that is difficult for some to believe and impossible for the wicked to do even if told. My declaration has been made, and I have spoken. The refreshing wind of my spirit is blowing, and the loosely held things are blowing away. Those momentary annoyances and troubles that appear to last forever are not permanent, and you will be left with only the essentials as you move into your next season. Nothing that you require will be lost. I am calling you forth by opening the wells within you that may have been blocked by the struggles and pain of previous seasons. You will reach new heights when you realize the amazing expressions of grace that are rising from inside you as the Holy Spirit recalls everything I have previously told you. Those things will now make sense when you see the puzzle pieces coming together and new solutions emerging in front of you. The waiting time is the most painful, especially when the solutions are not obvious, but it is not me saying no to your circumstance, nor is it my wish for you to suffer to teach you something. There are, however, processes and consequences, as well as sowing that result in reaping and faith that is required to lead you to your intended conclusion. The false accuser is waiting to deceive, so be as smart as serpents and as mild as doves, and you will know what is true. You do have a role to play, so believe me even when the circumstances seem contradictory, if not opposed, and have a firm foundation of faith to stand on. Faith communicates, faith believes, faith acts, and faith receives. It only takes a mustard seed to kickstart the process. Why stay where you are when you have the resources available to you? It is time to move on. Today, the Father says, nations rise and fall, but my constancy remains constant. Don't be concerned or dismayed by the impermanence of your surroundings. Change is taking place. People come and go from your life, but I will never abandon you. I will never abandon you. Go out there and be a shining example of unwavering faith in uncertain times. People around you are looking for stability and a sense of safety, yet all trust except in the great tower that I am is a vain thing. I know what your problem is today, and your future is in my capable hands. You can relax your thoughts and emotions knowing that I am a forgiving God who does not count transgression or offense, but instead shows mercy to you and compassion to tens of thousands. Go ahead and do the same. Be a merciful vessel. Please forgive those who have wronged you. They would have done better if they had known how. Please forgive them. Forgive, release, and bless, because at the end of the day, it is my power working in you to will and to do my good pleasure, and nothing and no one can change what comes out of my mouth concerning you. My blessing on your life is not anything eluding you. I have bestowed my favor on you. The power of the cross and the efficacy of the poured blood are flowing for and to you. I am the vine, deeply rooted within you and causing you to be anchored even today in a position of fruitfulness and satisfaction. You will not perish in the wilderness of disappointment. I am moistening your bones and fortifying your spiritual sinews, as well as your natural body. Even as blood rushes through your veins, delivering vitality to every member of your physical existence, streams of living water flow through your soul and spirit. Make a firm decision to reject the advice of the ungodly, declares God. Their wisdom is sensual, divisive, and diabolical, and it only leads to disappointment and frustration. Their root leads to death, but I would lead you to life if you trust me and follow the instructions of my spirit as I whisper, "This is the way, walk ye in it." You will not hesitate. My breeze at work all around you will blow away the chaff. The sinful will not stand, but as you establish yourself in me, you will be left strong and unmovable when everything else fails. God says, I know your path. Make a firm decision to reject the advice of the ungodly, declares God. Their wisdom is sensual, divisive, and diabolical, and it only leads to disappointment and frustration. Their root leads to death, but I would lead you to life if you trust me and follow the instructions of my spirit as I whisper, "This is the way, walk ye in it." You will not hesitate. My breeze at work all around you will blow away the chaff. The sinful will not stand, but as you establish yourself in me, you will be left strong and unmovable when everything else fails. God says, I know your path. My fire is a divine flame that purifies and cleanses. My fire will burn brightly in the light of day and the cool of night. Those who rush to my holy fire will be baptized with a passionate passion, whose flame will be stoked and oxidized by great love. God's love will conquer your souls and bring you exuberant joy in your health and vigor. Allow my immense love and passion to overtake you. Yield wholeheartedly and fervently to my instruction to love one another. The Father adds, receive this day my life-changing, world-changing baptism of fire that will kindle the flames and set ablaze the greatest revival the world has ever seen. Today, the Father asks, have you received your current assignment from me? Request it from me. Do you know what your task from me is? Please pay attention to my summons. Are you on the path to submission? Even if you encounter hurdles, keep moving forward. Have you recently encountered opposition? Persist till the end. If you endure with tenacity of faith, you will attain the desired consequence and ultimate result. I am the beginning and end of your faith. I will assist you in going the distance. I will assist you in finishing your race. I will assist you in completing the task at hand and will grant you the grace to do so. Obedience brings great joy, just as there was joy set before me to do my job on your behalf. I ended my quest and appropriately stated, "It is finished," and it was all for you. So you can now walk in elegance and assured strength, allowing you to complete the work at hand. My strengthening grace is available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Today, the Father declares that there is healing from the wells of salvation for everyone who seeks it. The scars, wounds, and piercings I suffered were for you, darling. I endured so you wouldn't have to. Speak to the wells within you to come to life. Speak to the healing flow of resurrection power to come forth and heal your bodies. Today is a day for stirring up wells and summoning the dead to life. There will be no more diversions or delays because today is the day of salvation. Today is the day of recovery. Today is the day of my glory and power. What I have in store for you and where I am leading you will exceed your expectations, but there will be a learning curve. Discipline may be unpleasant in the short term, but it will bear great fruit of all that is right and good in your life and will fill you with peace, says the Lord. So, said the Father, command the wells of salvation to spring out and bring you health, freedom, and prosperity in all you say and do, and in all you can ask or think. Today, the Father declares, there is nothing that can stop what I am doing. No force on earth can change my plans. Nothing the enemy can do will escape my notice because my plans have already been drawn. Unfortunately, people appear to believe that the devil has an advantage because of the abundance of sin, but this is not the truth. I'm working on something new, and I'll show you before it comes to fruition. Consider how the thinking of the disciples differed from yours today. What were their expectations as they went out to minister to people? They were expecting my results. As a result, as Jesus taught, raise your expectations and believe in bigger miraculous works. Complacency and apathy must depart because my glory is available to you, but it will not simply float down and turn you into a robot to perform my bidding. If Jesus is your Lord, you already have everything that I am. You have arrived at a new epoch in history. When people look at you, their attention will be drawn to my bright brilliance, which will radiate from your face and life and be physically visible. When people come to you for salvation and healing, my healing virtue that flows into their lives will meet every need in their lives. My power is available when you release your faith and expect the same results as the apostles. You can do it because I am in you. He who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. I am now shifting my attention to the temporary ailments you are experiencing. As a result, you can go forth confidently as my earthly envoy, imposing my will and intentions. I'll fill your lips when you open it. My strength will be released when you extend out your hands. My presence will accompany you, protect you, and bring you peace. This is my time, and this is your time, so let's get started. Sickness, like sin, is not the norm for my people. This day, be encouraged and expand your faith since the hour of your miracle has arrived. As I worked on the work of Calvary, I battled with sin as well as affliction and disease. I made no provision for anything short of perfect health, abundant life, and total supply when I constructed and fashioned you in your mother's womb. God says, that's who I am and what I do. Your healer is me. I am your supplier. In times of trouble, I am your solace. Look up, God says. See heaven's darling hung between heaven and earth, paying the price for your sin and your well-being. Distress is not your lot in life. Disease is not your fate. I'm am working, and I've performed a miracle that has changed the scenario and circumstances. I'm repairing your body. I am resolving your emotional issues. I am reviving your spirit with the same breath that created Adam from the dust of the ground. I'm close to you today, as close as hands and feet. I will never abandon you, and I will never abandon you. Those terrors and worries that tease you, they are fictitious. My promise is the sure word of your future, and you may count on me to fulfill every blood-bought provision of the cross in your life, declares God. Today, the Father declares, I am the Lord God who heals you. Healing is your lot. Preservation is your ration from heaven's storehouses. I am your Jehovah Rapha, who delivers you from affliction, and I am the God who keeps you healthy in pestilence. Have faith in my strength. Know that the efficacy of the blood poured on Calvary is sufficient. The stripes on heaven's darling's back have lost none of their power to save and deliver. Be aware that my hand is on you. Please know that I am keeping an eye on your children. Do what you can with what you have, and trust me with the rest, for I am your provider. Make it your goal, God says, to allow my word to have greater influence in your life than the circumstances. Never allow the situation to take precedence in your thoughts or heart over the assurance of my word. Situations change. Conditions change, but my word remains constant and unwavering. You will emerge from the circumstance unscathed and poised for a larger win than ever before. You are not being neglected or overlooked in any manner. Every promise I've made is online in your life, and you will not be let down because your trust is in me. Today, the Father says, there are times when you pull them out of the fire and others when you dump burning coals on their heads. Recognize the moments of my zeal and goodness. Yield to my gracious spirit. Pause and feel my compassion for the individual and their situation. My eagerness will motivate you to speak swiftly with evangelical zeal. My compassion will motivate you to release my goodness and mercy into their life, understanding that it is my kindness that causes men to repent. I understand the approach that is required for each individual and situation. Draw now on my anointing and wisdom, which will be released into your zone of influence to spark transformation. Join me in bringing every encounter before the throne of grace, and you will find all the assistance you require. You will acquire mercy and receive all of my goodness to bring hope and life to everyone who is in need. Because of who I am on the inside of you, you have the task of bringing life and deliverance into your domain, and it shall be an easy yoke and a light burden. What burdens you are not from me, so let it go. Today, the Father tells you that this season of your life was never meant to be more than you could handle. The responsibilities and gravity that seemed so crushing at times were all carried on my shoulders at the cross so that I would emerge unhurt and on track for a fulfilled destiny. Believe me. You'll have to put your trust in me. Flailing around seeking a false sense of security will merely postpone the inevitable frustration that all human solutions bring. I don't just want you to wade through the waters of difficulty. I want you to walk through them to a new and greater location of blessing. I have a better and bigger plan than you could ever conceive, but there is one aspect of it that you must not be afraid of. When your thoughts wander and you don't know what to do next, fall back into my faithfulness. Know that I am present even when I appear to be far away. The Father declares that it is a new day. It's a new day, and you'll be walking with me in a new way. You are not too old to learn, nor are you so exhausted that you lack the emotional energy to engage in my faithfulness. Be tenacious. Maintain your resolve. Refuse to be a victim of your mistakes from the past. Do not see the present as a millstone around your neck, for I am the God of an easy yoke and a lightweight. I'm guiding you to a better tomorrow. You can rely on me. You're feeling vulnerable and fatigued, yet I'm carrying you ahead every day. Everyone is praying for you. You are not alone, and you haven't made any decisions that have taken you so far from what I intended that I can't bring you right back into the center of my will. I am patient, but the time has come. It is time to re-establish hope and rebuild on the foundation that I am under your feet and in your life. Selah. Today, the Father declares, I am with you and in you. Forever. When I was crucified over 2,000 years ago, I died and nailed to the cross all sin, death, disease, and everything you will ever face. I did that back then, and it applies to you now. Whatever circumstance you are in, whatever difficulty or problem you are facing was, is, and always will be completed. Done. Forever. When I was crucified on the cross and arose from the grave, I supernaturally transferred all I demonstrated on earth that is in heaven to you. When you answered yes to me, a transaction occurred, and a gift that will last was provided. You have an identity problem if you are not living out of the life and grace I supplied when I died for you. But there is a simple solution. Simply cease looking horizontally for what you need to acquire vertically. Your identity no longer revolves around you. Your identity is not determined by what you have or do not have. Your identity is neither good nor harmful. Your identity is not defined by your past or current circumstances. Your identity is and always will be found in me. You have the grace to confront any problem or scenario that comes your way. You have been granted a whole new identity, as well as all things related to life and godliness, all things. You have now been summoned to glory and excellence. Amazing grace is yours. You have great potential. You are blessed with health and abundance. Your potential is in me, since you will never be able to do what I did for you. You will be disappointed if you look to people and things in this world for anything other than the cross, since they can never deliver. Stop staring at yourself. You have potential because I have provided you with everything you require. Energy, vitality, new eyes, new ears, new direction, hope, and more. Everything can be discovered in me. Today, the Father says, is the day to truly let go of the past. What was behind you has vanished. Bring every ramification of previous mistakes to me, and I will bring an end to every hardened quarrel and sticky issue you bring. I have already forgiven every repentant heart, no matter what kind of mess you are in. My grace applies to your circumstance as well as the one you are fighting for the prayer of the righteous is effective. Beloved, know that my mercy extends far beyond what you can ask or think. I am melting the hardness of hearts like wax in the noonday sun, and I am transforming every broken heart into a malleable and yielding vessel that will honor and praise me. Allow the past to go and remain in the past. It is not wise to resurrect what has long been dead and buried. My spirit will blow away the shattered remnants of postponed hope and replace them with fulfilling life-breathed destiny and purpose. For you will triumphantly walk a path of renewed power and glory, declares the Father. Today, the Father declares, I am the Alpha and the Omega, and there is no variation in me. Delta is not the ruler. COVID is not the ruler. I sit as Earth's king and ruler, and your tomorrows are safely in my hands. Will I say something over your life and it not come true? Will I say something and it not come true in your situation? Lean back and relax, certain of my favor. I will surely bless you, and you will be blessed above measure in imagination because I am with you. Where is your God now? Some ask. He who sits in the heavens will laugh because, as I hold you close at this time, know that the scourge by day and the plague by night will not find you or rob you on a single score. Expect to see my expansion in your land. Recognize that the time for your advancement has arrived. You are neither retreating nor are you defeated. Life's newness is yours. An abundance of rain is currently pouring down on you from my refreshing clouds. Recognize this as the most fundamental fact of your current existence. It's a fresh day and an entirely new hour. Everything changes. The old has passed, and the new has arrived. Let go of your faith. Unleash your faith in me, because the flood of my kindness is about to break. It is currently breaking over your life. All my billows and waves are finding you to wipe away your grief and disappointment and usher in a new era of my favor and goodness in your life. Accept the divine decree for your life. Turn away from the story of despair and accept the goodness of my hand displayed in your day, right now. God urges you to believe the good news and ignore the bad reports of faithless counselors in your life. The cynics and doomsayers have seen things, but I tell you, this is the hour of your rescue. You are leaving the land of oh, no, and entering the world of fulfilled promise. You are not fading away, rather, you are increasing. Eagle's wings are spreading from your spirit, and the wind of my might is taking you beyond the struggle to a triumph vantage point beyond your wildest dreams. God says, this is your portion, and your righteousness is of me. Today, the Father says, is the acceptable time. Today is the day of salvation. I approach the door and knock. Will you open the door and let me in? This is your invitation to join my family, for I am welcoming my children home. The supernatural should take precedence over the natural world in your life. You are a supernatural entity inhabiting a human body. There are limitations in this world life that you are learning to navigate rather skillfully. Nevertheless, when my super is applied to your natural, miracles, signs, and wonders occur. Allow hope to emerge within you by lifting the lid on your honest expectancy. Hope is a strong and steadfast anchor for the soul. Hope does not let you down, but it does offer your faith something to work with. When you walk in love with those around you and with yourself, expecting me to come through for you and remove doubt and unbelief from your mind, faith will emerge to help hope bring those things to fruition in your life. If you say, I'll believe it when I see it, you've effectively turned off hope, leaving faith with nothing to work with. Hope begins in the invisible realm, while faith provides reality to what you see and determines what you believe. This is contradictory to faith and will not result in the intended result. Faith has faith and speaks up. When you consider the things that are not seen and eternal, let faith emerge because you know that the things that are seen change, but my word does not. Today, the Father asks, what kind of love have I bestowed upon you through my Son? You could never fathom it with your human logic, but via my Spirit, you can know all things, even the deep things contained in me. When you are a child without supervision, you do not rush right into the deep end since you are untrained in the depths of comprehension. When you dedicate your mind to learning and applying my word, you may go far faster than those who never know what it says. You are aware that it speaks and is not silent. My word has stood the test of time throughout your life and the ages, and my word will stand and endure forever. It makes no difference what people who disagree say or how many various ways they say it to try to convince you to believe and join their negativity tour. You will not participate, my child, because you are doing what is required for progress and advancement at this moment. Many people are wringing their hands in fear and worry, but not you. You have concealed my word in your heart so that you will not sin against me. This does not mean you are perfect or immune to the opposition surrounding you, but if you take the time to investigate, you can tap into my spirit and thoughts on any subject. It can save you a significant amount of time. I can wait since I am not in a rush, but now that you are aware, you are responsible for what you do and say, which can take you out of the position or keep you there ineffective, miserable, and unfulfilled for the rest of your life. The answers are not discovered among your friends, in the depths of your thoughts, or in the amusement and activity that surrounds you. You will make time for what is vital to you. You will realize that most of what individuals say and do has no permanent worth and has nothing to do with life and godliness or transformation. They are perplexed as to why nothing changes and feel trapped. Rise from the depression and servitude that your circumstances have trapped you in. Rise to a new life. Shine and be dazzling in my splendor, for your light has arrived and my splendor has risen upon you, and my glory will be seen in you. Today, the Father declares, I am not unmoved by the afflictions and infirmities that are coming against you. I see them and know you've been suffering, so I've made every effort to heal you at the cross. There is nothing else to do but believe and accept it. It is up to you to toss it away from yourself with confidence, knowing that I will enforce it. My host is with you to carry out your words, therefore speak out in Jesus' name for every spirit of infirmity to be loosed from you. There is no weapon created that can stand up to you. You are not cursed, and when you reject unclean spirits, they must flee from you. The Father announces today, I am not unmoved by the afflictions and infirmities that are coming against you. I see them and know you've been in pain, so I've done everything I can to heal you at the cross. Nothing else can be done but believe and accept it. It is up to you to confidently toss it away from yourself, knowing that I will enforce it. My host is with you to carry out your words, therefore, in Jesus' name, call for every spirit of infirmity to be cast out of you. There is no weapon invented that can compete with you. You are not cursed, and unclean spirits must go when you reject them. The Father urges today, do not be like those who have no hope in this life for their departed loved ones. All those in my kingdom who believe in Jesus' death and resurrection will go from glory to glory. What appears to be departing this realm through the agony of death is instead the passage into true life. I am the way and the truth through which you can enter the life that is the true life, the genuine life. Do not be misled, but take heart in knowing that your loved one is at home with me, celebrating the delights of all that I have prepared. This time on earth is so fleeting that it can be gone in the blink of an eye. Your loved one who is now with me has realized this and wishes for you to be present, but only when it is time for you to return home. Your loved one is now among the great cloud of witnesses, cheering you on to the finish line of your race and completion of your assignment. Your purpose and destiny will not be derailed by sadness, despair, or any other dark strategy. Allow me to be your promise keeper and comforter because I will never disappoint you. The Father promises, I will never leave you nor forsake you.